Okay, you can see I nearly have 2 identical linoleum blocks. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you 2 different ways that you can carve these with your gouge to show positive and negative space. So first you're going to go ahead and get your gouge. So this is your linoleum gouge. It is often referred to as a linoleum knife or cutter, but the proper term is gouge. And the reason is the blade is actually gouging or causing grooves into your surface that you're carving. So I've already selected which blade I'd like and returned the other ones I do not like back into the cap. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move the barrel to the left. So you can see it's creating an open space in between the ball chamber. You're then going to take your blade, or this particular one I think is a number 2, and this is a V shape. You can tell by it mimicking the letter V. I like to use this one to carve my first details and keep what I'm going to leave. It is up to you. So now I'm going to very carefully place my round end of the knife, not my blade, into the ball right next to it, so there's the metal piece on the other side. So once you've done that, and always feel free to clarify with me, you're going to then turn your barrel to the right. And it should be fairly tight. You don't want to make it so you won't be able to unscrew it later, but it should be tight enough. So that's a basic way to make sure you're putting your blade into your gouge properly. For this first demonstration, I'm going to focus on my contour line. And what that's going to mean is I'm making sure that my positive and negative space, all that it will print will be what is left behind. So what I'm carving out is the contour line, and that will be the negative space, and that is where the paper will remain when we print. And I'll show you what that looks like soon. So first and foremost, as a reminder, I always want to make sure my block is nice and safe. If you have a bench hook, that is the best way. Always make sure you carve away from your body. I'm going to turn my block this way, and I'm going to begin carving my details now. So I'm going to stay as close as I can to the line, and I already made a mistake by putting my hand up here. Make sure your hand is always away from your blade. So it's easy to feel like you're almost working with paper and move your hand, but you always got to be really aware of your fingers. So right now I'm still carving away from my body, and I'm staying very close to my line. Removed the excess piece. I'm now going to rotate my block a little bit more and just continue carving out this contour of my block. Next step is, as you can see, I have cut all of the contours using my gouge, cutting away my body. This process does take quite a bit of time and a lot of patience. For our class, it'll probably be at least 2 to 3 class periods for you to finish. One way to check before you even print is you can take a Sharpie and basically lightly touch the top of your linoleum block. What this is going to do, this is going to basically tell you what will print and what will not. So if you miss any areas, or if you want to touch anything up before you begin printing, this is a great way to check to do so. So as you can see, I cut around some areas and have all my contours. This essentially is what this print will look like, but reversed. So if you're happy with that, great. Next step is showing another way to carve your linoleum block, where you're not necessarily following the contours, but you're going to decide positive and negative spaces. So for this process, I'm going to carve right next to my line because I want my armadillo to be raised and all of my background to be the negative space. So I'm first going to turn my linoleum block so it is far away from me. My fingers are placed low, and I'm going to carve directly next to the contour line of my armadillo. So mine has a lot of bumps. This is going to take quite some time. I will first carve all the way around, and then I will show you what that looks like and then talk about next steps. So you can see that I've carved the exterior just next to my contour or outline of my drawing on this one. Here, once again, I carved my contour, all of my actual line that I traced, I carved. So now the difference is thinking about your texture. Here, our texture is shown through negative space. So as you can see, this will print with the texture of the ribbed armadillo back, the texture of the grass, the sky, and kind of a softer texture here. Here, we're going to look at how we can manipulate using different blades to extract and different directions of carving out the groove. I'm going to remove the majority of my background and then create some more texture here. So my armadillo is raised the highest, or has the highest texture on my linoleum block. I will stop and show you some examples.